Well, what is up, everybody? This is Keith Jameson, go by Gator Guy 231 across the DFS industry. It is Thursday morning, which means we are here for a Thursday night football. It's a great thing right now in life, right? To get to the end of the week, and we know on Thursday night we got NFL. Friday we have some college football. Saturday we have a lot of college football. Sunday we have NFL. Monday we have football. Good times, good times. So I hope everybody had a great week one. If you were with me last Thursday, we got a ton right in that Cowboys-Bucks game, so that was a lot of fun, including our Prizepicks wager. We were under on the Ronald Jones receiving. He did not get any receiving yards or catches, and over on CeeDee Lamb, who had a huge game. So looking forward to going over not only the DraftKings Showdown slate tonight, but some Prizepick plays that I'm looking at as well. Quick reminder on Prizepicks: if you are interested in growing and joining one of the fastest growing prop games in, I was going to say the USA, let's just call it the world, in the world, because the Prizepicks team, that's where they're going. Use promo code FSI. So let me see if I point right. There, that right there. Promo code FSI. You get $100 match up to a first deposit of $100. There's just a ton of different plays you can go at, not only for football, but if you're into other sports, they have everything on there to fulfill your prop gaming needs. All right, let's take a look before we get into DraftKings at three of the props that I am looking at personally. So Taylor Heineke, actually, this is an under 22 pass completions. So let's just talk about, and we're going to get into the game more as we go into the DraftKings, but the likely game script here, right, is Washington being ahead. And we know Washington, when ahead, is going to want to run the ball, especially with their backup quarterback in. The Giants also got absolutely mutilated on the ground by the Broncos last week. I had to pause because I knew it was Melvin Gordon and I wanted to say Chargers, who rushed for things over 147 on the ground. So all of a sudden, and I should also just say this, Ryan Fitzpatrick was in for, a portion of the game, who is very, very throwing minded. And the team in total last week got 21 pass attempts, not completions, attempts. They were 14 of 21 last week versus the Chargers. I think that this is a line that's just a little too high. It's a little too optimistic on the public wanting a passing aerial raid. I'm very much on Antonio Gibson, which you can see the next one is. So I like under 22 pass completions, like the over on Antonio Gibson running, because I like the under on Heineke pass completions. I mean, those are a very correlative number. Now, keep in mind in Prizepicks, though, you can't just go on one side. You do need to go on the other side. So I like, this is not a love, but I like Sterling Shepard over 5 receptions. Let me just tell you why. We have a very, very tough offensive line for the Giants. They're not very good. And we have a very good defensive line for the Washington football team. So Daniel Jones is going to have to get the ball out quick. Sterling Shepard operates mainly out of the slot. He is the one receiver that Daniel Jones has shown a chemistry with. 9 targets last week for 7 yards. Low ADOT type of receptions. So 5, I like a lot. I also like the receiving yards. I believe it's 57.5. So I'm good with either. I'll just put this up for it. I'm good with either one. So again, I will finalize, if you follow me on Twitter at GatorGuy231, I'll finalize that tonight. I'll also put it in the comments here. But those are the 4 plays that I'm looking at for those that are wanting to get at it tonight. And just a quick reminder if you're new. So if you did a 4-way play here, you get 10-1 odds, right? But let's say that is decided 2. Let's say I decided Heineke. I kind of I don't mind doing this as 3, by the way, because I think these are so correlative. So let's just let's just go the receptions. And that's 25 to win 125. So I think that's really nice odds on a play that I really like. So that is the way I'm going for Prizepicks. Let's jump though. All right, sorry for that. Let's jump right in to the DraftKings slate. Let's just start at the top, and we're going to start with the quarterbacks. So I think in an optimal build, you're probably, and again, these where I'm going to operate out of is not like trying to give you the 1 to 2% GPP plays that are going to go off and win you $1 million. That is unfortunately not the most real life situation, but look, there's some crazy ways to do that, right? I think almost everybody's going to be situating on Washington being the team to target. So kind of like what I mentioned last week, and it almost worked, funny enough. Just go the exact opposite way, right? Go that last week go Dallas goes off. This week, go the Giants go off. And just flip the script, and you're going to flip the ownership too. But again, working from an optimal lens, I do think, as much as I'm not like a huge fan of Daniel Jones, in like a cash type of build, or a single entry, or smaller field type of thing, he's pretty close to a must. He's going to potentially be down, which is going to push up his passing expectation, and he's a dual threat, so he's going to get us yards on the ground. So Daniel Jones, even at 10-4, well, I don't think he's my favorite captain choice. I don't think I'm going to be on either quarterback or captain. I think that the price on Gibson gives you a little bit of a value there. Not that much. I thought for some reason I thought it was 8,600. I just think I trust Antonio Gibson's role more than I trust either one of these quarterbacks. And there's going to be value that we're going to go over that's going to make it all fit. So Daniel Jones at 10-4. Also, just should note, Daniel Jones also makes Washington D a good play. You don't have to, if you decide to play Washington defense, you can still play Daniel Jones, because he can still do well, score a couple touchdowns. But because he's so turnover prone, the defense still has a really good fantasy point expectation. Taylor Heineke, very much like Jones, is a dual threat. He's going to get you a little bit on the ground. He should get us 2 to 3 DK from his rushing. And as we saw in the Bucs playoff game last year, I think he can play. Former, I think it was MVP or Player of the Year in D2 in college, and he was really impressive versus the Bucs last year. Like, he had them in that game. Looked very good against the Chargers last week, and I think he's just going to just step in here, and he's not going to be able to push the ball as aggressively as Ryan Fitzpatrick, but he's going to do his job. Again, there's not going to be a plethora of plays that you just go, oh my gosh, I'm salivating to play here. So I think, again, optimal sense, playing both quarterbacks more often than not in these showdowns makes a lot of sense, unless you get a team that, one of these backups that, has no business being out there, and the team is not going to open up the game for them. That's still one of the few times that you probably aren't going to be targeting quarterbacks in cash. Antonio Gibson, okay, Saquon's above him. All right, let me just give the Saquon take. Short week, right? Still recovering from an injury. Giants O-line sucks. Saquon Barkley is amazing, but he's facing a good D-line. I just don't think things line up here at all. Actually, I know that they don't line up here at all. So, that probably means from a GPP perspective, a lot of people are thinking the same way as me, that Saquon becomes like probably maybe an elite GPP play because he's going to be lower owned than his talent dictates. But I don't think you can spend the 10,000 here. I'll take both quarterbacks over him, and I'll take Gibson over him. And once you've done that, and I'd probably take Sterling Shepard at $2,000 less over him. And once you do all that, I don't think you can do it. So that's my Gibson Barkley take. Antonio Gibson proved week 1 that he's going to be kind of the workhorse. 20 carries and got 5 targets, which is awesome. We know Antonio Gibson played receiver in college at times, so he can really do it all. It's really nice to see them getting him involved in the passing attack as well. That's huge for us. Look, he had huge games without the fumbles issues. Ron Rivera is not Bill Belichick. It's not Bruce Arians. So Antonio Gibson, look, if he fumbles again twice, that's going to be rough. And, we might have a benching situation. But, all reports are he's a full go. And look, I just mentioned it in the prize pick section. The Broncos absolutely torched the Giants on the ground. Melvin Gordon with a resurgence of almost 150 yards running. If Antonio Gibson gets 20 carries versus this Giants defensive line and defense, I think we're honestly looking at 100 plus yards. Kind of why I just absolutely love that 68.5 on prize picks. Love it here. Also, Antonio Gibson should be getting the goal line work. So to me, I think he's on the cover of this video. So I think he's a must play. Now, this is expensive, right? Let's say that all of a sudden I wanted to use Gibson at cap. We have 5,000 left. So I'm going to skip all the way down to the value that makes you not have to just choose like pretty terrible options. And that value, even though it doesn't look like it, is Damani Brown or Diami Brown from the Washington football team. He's 1,400. He only got 4 targets last week. That doesn't seem that great, right? 1 catch for -2 yards. Why the hell am I highlighting him? He was on the field 93% of the plays. Thank you, RotoWire, for putting it on here. Hopefully not too many people click on it. 93% of the plays. Diami Brown at North Carolina was an explosive wide receiver. A lot of things can go for rookie wide receivers while they struggle, but what we're looking for in Showdown and for anything in NFL is opportunity, right? The opportunity to blow up. So at 1,400, I think Diami Brown screams that opportunity, and we don't have to pay much for it. Remember, at 1,400, we're sometimes looking at like backup tight ends that we're hoping get a catch or 2, or a backup or a third string running back. Last week, Gio Bernard didn't get anything until the final drive, right? But we were playing a third down running back for a potential 3-4 targets. Here we have a starting wide receiver playing 93% of snaps that is off 4 targets, and we know is athletically explosive. So to me, Diami Brown is a slam dunk. I'm sure there's the case to be made, that there's a balanced approach, both kickers, both quarterbacks, Gibson, somebody else in the middle. But I really like getting Brown. I like the upside. And it's also going to let you, if you all of a sudden use somebody like Brown, now all of a sudden you have 6,800 for your last 2 picks. And we're not talking about now looking at a Kyle Rudolph who's in play. We're looking up in this range, right? We're looking at maybe getting 1 more wide receiver. We can get a Terry Mack, a Sterling Shepard, Logan Thomas, and then maybe somebody down here or looking at defense. So I think the build just is much, much smoother. And you can also play Heineke at captain. You play Jones at captain, all that thing. Brown gives you a ton of ability to really go any direction you want. Let's talk about some of those directions. Terry McLaurin, obviously Washington's number 1. This is a tough matchup versus James Bradbury. But if you bet on talent, I think McLaurin, is very, very open to a huge game. Kenny Golladay, for me, Sterling Shepard is greater than Kenny Golladay, not only because of the fantasy points per game numbers, but like I said in Prizepicks, Sterling Shepard, low ADOT. We have a good pass rush in Washington. Jones getting the ball out quick, and he trusts Sterling Shepard. That chemistry is not fully there with Golladay. Both are in play. Sterling greater and cash. If you want to look for, the huge explosive, 5 catches, 150 yards, that's a Golladay type of play. Logan Thomas, 100% of the snaps for Washington in the tight end spot. We know backup quarterbacks like going to their tight ends, especially a huge tight end, proven guy like Logan Thomas, 7,400, I think makes a ton of sense. Giants for years have been a funnel to the tight end. I think that Logan Thomas very in play as well. Slayton to me is just kind of maybe a GPP play. I think it's pretty clear that Sterling Shepard is going to get the most targets. Kenny Golladay is going to get the next most. Then it's going to be Darius Slayton. So 6,600, I think from an ownership perspective in GPPs makes a ton of sense, but in cash, not for me. Talked about Washington football team. Daniel Jones loves turning the ball over. He has, I believe it's 30 fumbles now, and I think it's 27 career starts, I believe is the stat. That's just insane. That's not even including interceptions. So again, we're not really worried about points allowed for our defense. I think so many people are too worried that like, oh, how many points are they going to allow? Like nobody's shutting people out in the NFL anymore. So you're worried about sacks, you're worried about turnovers and all that good stuff. So Washington football team definitely has an expectation for that. Don't be afraid if you play them to still play Daniel Jones. Adam Humphries, I think a lot of people thought he was going to have a huge game last week. Only finished, I believe, with 2 targets. Yeah, 2 targets. So I think he's in play, still plays 60% of the snaps, but he's kind of that weird range. If you land on him, fine, but I wouldn't go out seeking him personally. Dustin Hopkins, I like a lot. Had 12 points last week. Kickers are always in play, especially for cash. We saw Zerline, hell, if he made that 60-yarder last week, he would have been in the GPP winner. So kickers also do have upside as well. You could also go Gano for the Giants, but I think, try to go for the favorite kicker in most games. Rudolph will be starting at tight end, gets a ton of snaps. That's about the nicest thing I could say for him. Booker is backing up Saquon. McKissick, third down back for the Washington football team. Did not have a good game last week, but he's kind of similar to Gio Bernard from last week. And finally, the last play I'm going to mention, because I am a Florida Gator, Kadarius Toney. They're going to play gadget plays with him. He's hugely electric. To me, it's Diami Brown for 400 cheaper all day over him. But if you need to, I haven't really played with the build that I needed 2 punts, but if you need to, I think you could go crazier than that. I would assume the Giants, when they spent first round equity on him, at least have some thoughts or a plan on how to use him. Again, gadget type of plays. He has that type of explosiveness, that just one touch he could get in the end zone. So, all right, that'll do it. I hope that this preview helps. Please, if it does, like, subscribe, and comment to the channel. All that really helps YouTube grow. If you really like it and you're interested in Prizepicks, again, use that promo code FSI. Shows them that you came from us at this channel and gives you some free money, so everybody wins. That will do it, everybody, for this week's preview. Make sure you check back on the channel on Sunday if you're only interested in the NFL content. TK will be breaking down Sunday Night Football, and then Monday Night Football, Zach will have it in the morning. So we always have you covered for the future showdowns here at FSI, and so many other sports. Baseball still going on. I have soccer up. Just if there's a sport out there, we're covering it. Would love to see you all aboard FSI. If you're interested in some of the FSI plan options, click below in the link. All right, enough sales presentation, enough of all that. Sure, you clicked off already. If you didn't, thank you. Have a good day and good luck tonight. See you.